welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Ryan and I'm a teen mom of two beautiful little girls. I figured today I was going to do the teen mom tag for you guys, so I'm going to link those questions down below, and some of the other questions I did get off a Facebook post, so they might not be on that list. But anyways, if you guys enjoy, please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. I've been trying to upload every day, so be sure to turn your notifications on so you see when I post. Anyways, we're just going to jump right in. Enjoy, guys. So the first question is, how old were you when you had your first child? So when I had Emery, I was about 2 months away from being 18, so I was 17 at the time. Question number 2, what would your advice be for someone who is about to have a baby? I guess just don't listen to what everyone has to say. Everybody's gonna have opinions about how you should raise a kid. Everyone's gonna tell you that if you did this, it would be better. If you do that, it'd be better. Or you're doing something wrong. People will compare their kids to your kids constantly, and they will always try to give you advice. It's nice to listen to the advice. It's nice to hear them. It's nice that they're trying to help you out as a parent, but you need to remember that every kid is different. So therefore, every parenting style is going to be different to accommodate to your kid and what you want and what the needs are of you and your child. So therefore, some advice that somebody gives you may not fit for your situation. So like I said, listen to the advice, hear them, but it might not always be what works best. Next question is, what is the hardest thing about being pregnant for 9 months? Well, I would say for the first pregnancy, it's just you don't realize everything that happens while you're pregnant, but until it's happening, I guess you would say, unless you do like a lot of, you know, research and read a bunch of stuff, which I think I did, but it wasn't until, you know, things started happening to me that I was trying to be like, oh, is this normal? Is this not normal? You know, I was unsure. I hurt, you know, just it's regular things that you go through while you're pregnant. But for first time pregnancy, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know how my body would handle things, and so I think just not knowing and trying to deal with all these different things happening to you at once with everything else happening in life, it just was a lot, but we made it through, obviously. So the next question is, what was the best thing about being pregnant for 9 months? So I guess the only good thing I could think about being pregnant would be just knowing you're gonna have a kid, knowing that you're gonna have this new life, thinking, you know, of a name for them and buying stuff for them, and, you know, just imagining all these things that you're gonna do with them, and wondering what kind of person they're gonna be in life, you know, and what they're gonna look like. And just, I feel like there's so many joys that come along with just expecting a baby, wondering, you know, when they're gonna be born or whatever it is. There's so many things. So the next question is, what is the hardest thing about being a teen mom? So I think everyone obviously has a different answer. For myself, I think it honestly just is a day-to-day thing. There's different struggles that I have gone through, plenty of them. I think everybody goes through struggles being young, being a parent in general. So just adding those things together, it was definitely a lot to handle at once. Right now for me, it would be going to school. It's really hard for me to try to do online school like I've been doing, and, you know, find time to do that while my kids are distracting me or they need something, or trying to, you know, teach myself a certain material that I'm supposed to be learning, and, you know, be able to go and do homework on it and test on it and everything that goes along with doing school, just by having the distractions of kids and trying to get your schedule, you know, to where you have time for school, because it's hard. I want to be a parent, you know, I want to be a good mom, I want to spend time with my kids, I want to, you know, be able to clean the house and do all these things for Jordan, and it's just hard because there's not enough time in the day at all. So that is the one thing that I could think. The other thing that I could think of is just having friends in general. I feel like when you're a teenager, most of your friends at that time in your life are the same age as you. You know, you go to high school with them, you hang out with them on the weekends, you do, you know, high school things. And so me being pregnant in my junior year of high school, none of my friends knew what I was going through. You know, none of my friends, you know, were in a relationship like I was for a couple years. I was getting emancipated at the time, so, you know, no one knew what that was like. So I just had a lot of differences between the people I was friends with and myself at the time, and therefore we kind of drifted apart, which is fine. It's totally normal. I think even when you're an adult and you get pregnant, there is a lot of, you know, drifting apart people do, and I think it's hard because when you're having a kid, you have to put all your focus, all your energy on having a child, bringing a kid into this world, making sure that you have everything for them, making sure, that you can parent them the best you can, and knowing everything and learning everything that you need to, and just preparing yourself all around. I feel like you kind of, put your friends on the back burner a little bit, and that's not something you try to do intentionally, but you just have other priorities and responsibilities in your life. So anyways, with that being said, it's hard to find people that related to me for the longest time. But I did find this amazing group while I was pregnant that other teen moms had informed me of, and it was a group for teen moms. So it's an amazing group. It's called Young Lives. It's once a month, or you could go twice a month depending on what club you want to go to. But you go, they feed you dinner, you get to meet other teen moms and their kids, you guys get to hang out, do crafts, they can help you out as much as they can with a bunch of other stuff, and it's an amazing group to go to. And I have met so many teen moms going through my situation. Kayla, who did my pictures, I met her there, and we've been such good friends since then. So it has been an amazing group and opened so many friendships for me, and I'm so thankful for that, because without that, I don't know how I would have had anyone to relate to or anything like that. And a lot of young moms don't know that things like these are out there, or they're too shy, which I completely get. It's hard to put yourself out there, especially in front of people that you don't know. But just know that when your parents, I feel like everyone has this general connection, you understand, you get each other on this other level that some people don't, and you'll always have something to talk about. And that's what I think an amazing thing about, having a kid young is. Anyways, I'm blabbering on about this one question. I need to keep moving forward. So anyways, the next question would be, what is the most surprising thing you discovered about being a mom? So I guess the first thing that comes to mind is that I have worked with kids my entire life. All sorts of different kids, all different settings, different age groups, different things like that. And so it's like, I thought that I knew kids, I could understand them, I was good at watching them, I could entertain them, I could take care of them, I could do it, right? Well, I was wrong, because it is like that. I mean, you take care of them, you play with them, but it is so different because you were with them 24/7, day in and day out. When you're babysitting, you get the joy. The kid's happy to see you, the kid wants to hang out with you, the kid wants to play with you, you're new, you're exciting, but when you've been around day in and day out, and you have to be strict, and you have to make sure when you're raising this kid that you're they're not being rude or they're using their manners. Like, you have to make sure that they're growing into a person that they need to be. And that doesn't mean that you always get to be the fun one that gets to hang out, and that they're not always happy and they don't always want to be around you. And it's different when you're with them constantly. But aside from being with them constantly, it's also different because when you're babysitting, you don't have that connection. You love a kid, you spend time with the kid, you're with the kid constantly, you see them grow. I did it, I love those kids still too, but it's different when it's your kid. Once again, you've seen them every day, you see every little thing they do. It's your kid, and you have such a deeper, love, and it's so much more fulfilling. Anyways, next question. What is the most exciting milestone? I can't even answer that question. Everything is so exciting. The first time they smile at you, the first time they roll over, the first time they roll over the other way, the first time they hold themselves up a little bit, or when they get head control for the first time, or when they taste food for the first time, or when they hold their bottle for the first time, or it's everything is an exciting milestone, because when they're little and they're growing, everything is new, they've not done this ever before. And when you're a parent and you get to witness these things happening and know that that is the very first time in their life that they have done those things, it is like the best feeling in the entire world. So to pick one milestone, especially now having 2 kids, that is impossible. So the next question is, how was each of your pregnancies and deliveries different from each other? So I would say for pregnancy with Emery, I had the worst morning sickness. I was puking constantly, multiple times a day, every day for months and months. I had been on nausea medication. It didn't work. I got on other stuff. It kind of worked, but by that time I was getting over the nausea and all that. Plus, I feel like when I was pregnant with her, my pregnancy lasted so much longer. I was sitting there just waiting for her to come. I just wanted her here. You know, it was just, I had nothing to do but just spend my time getting ready for her. But with Alina, I didn't have as bad of morning sickness. I did have morning sickness, but just not as badly and not as long. And my pregnancy went by so much faster. I think I dealt with it a lot better because I knew everything that I was gonna expect. I was distracted with a toddler at the time. I already had, you know, so much stuff left over from when Emery was a baby that I wasn't stressed out about buying things. You know, we were in a better situation. We already lived on our own. There was just so many differences. In the time I was pregnant, it just made my pregnancy easier. So with Emery, there's so many differences. I would have to do a more in-depth story, I guess, if you guys want to know. But comment down below if you do, let me know, and I can always make that story. But with Emery, I went into labor, you know, past my due date, was in labor all day by myself because Jordan was at work, but it wasn't that bad yet. Went to the hospital, you know, the next day at 4 in the morning. Got an epidural, things were easy, couldn't feel much, you know, and then had her naturally a couple, you know, in the middle of the day the next day. With Alina, my water broke earlier than my due date, and I didn't really have that bad of labor. Went to the hospital. It took forever for them to get anything started. That's a story of its own, that's for sure. But basically I had her naturally, and I went to the hospital at 1:30 in the morning, and I had her by 4:30 in the morning naturally. So her pregnancy might have been easier, but her labor was definitely not. I'm glad it was fast, I guess, for the circumstances it was under, but it was definitely not fun for me. So next question, what is your biggest strength and a weakness in parenting? Okay, that's an awesome question. Already know my answers for that. My biggest weakness in parenting is I can be strict, I can be on them, I can do all that stuff, but when something happens or they look at you or whatever in that moment and it's just funny and you can't help but laugh, and I feel like I do it too often, and I try so hard not to. I know Jordan will say he does it all the time too, but it's like you try to turn around, but when you're trying to be serious with them and you're trying to be strict or punish them or whatever it is, and then you can't help but bust up laughing in front of them, and then it's like whatever had happened before that has absolutely no effect, you know, because you're now laughing and then they think it's funny. And that's definitely the hardest thing that I've had, my biggest flaw, I guess, in parenting them. My biggest strength, I guess, would just be being there. I don't know. That's a hard question too. I don't even know if this counts as a strength. It might not, but I think I've tried my hardest to hold on to every little thing. I'm not concerned about them growing up. I'm not hoping that things will go faster. I'm not like, I can't wait till they do this or they do that. I'm just trying to enjoy every moment and be there and be in the moment. And you know, now I'm recording so I can capture everything I can because I don't want to regret not being in the moment. You know, I want to remember my kids. I want to enjoy every second of it because it goes too fast. And everyone that has kids that are grown up will tell you that. Even now that Emery's 2, it's like I had her yesterday. What happened? She was this tiny little baby, and now she's talking to me and potty trained and, you know, doing her own things and doesn't want to be around us and, you know, fighting with us and whatever it is. It goes so fast, and I try my best to hold on to every moment of it and take a minute, and, you know, when they're being sweet and they're hugging on me, I'll hug them back and I'll just sit there for a minute and rock them and just soak it all in and love every minute of it. So that was a really good question. My next question is, did you imagine becoming a mom at the age you became a mom? Definitely not. So my whole life growing up, I always had these goals, these dreams. I knew what I wanted to do in my life from the time I was little. I, you know, had things that I looked forward to. I was into sports. I played volleyball. I, you know, got good grades. I did all these things, and from the time I was at even elementary school, I remember telling my best friend, like, I don't want to be one of those girls. I want to live my life, and I want to do things, and I want to, you know, travel, and I want to see the world, and I just want to do these things, and I know that will happen later. And I was so naive and had my head, you know, in the straight path. Sorry, my camera died. Anyways, I had my head in the straight path, and I definitely didn't expect to get pregnant at the age I did. I don't regret my kids. I wouldn't change my life. You know, I feel like everything that has happened to me in my life up until this point has made me who I am. So I definitely wouldn't change a single thing that has happened to me, because I feel like if it didn't, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I love my kids, I love my boyfriend, I love my life. So why, you know, change anything that would put that in harm's way? So the last two questions is, one, how has having children affected your relationship? So it's definitely taught me and Jordan a lot. And, you know, we've had differences in our parenting, so we've had to learn how to cope with that. I mean, you know, going from not living with each other, being in high school, you know, to moving in, having a kid that we have to take care of, living with his mom, trying to save up, work, do all this stuff at one time was definitely a lot. So we had our ups and downs, that's for sure. We learned about communication, and we learned fast, and we had to learn that we're gonna do things different, and that's okay, and that, you know, just because one person does one thing this time, they don't have to the next. And it's definitely a team effort, you know. It's both of our kids, we both have part in them, we both are responsible for them, and it's definitely a lot of growing, I feel like, you do as a couple to become a team, to learn how to work together. And the last question is, have you changed as a person since becoming a mom? Of freaking course, I have changed as a person. I probably don't even know the person I was before I had kids. I don't even remember what life was like back then. I made really bad choices. I got in a bad friend group in high school. I just was not the best teenage kid. I realized this, and I definitely don't do any of those things now. I don't have a huge friend group. I'm not going out and going to parties and making bad choices. You know, I stay at home, I go to school, I have kids that I take care of, and I'm there every day, and I have changed completely, which I'm totally okay with. I think it's for the best. I think it's not that I really think that I probably would have became the person I am still, but I just did it faster because I had to grow up faster. So anyways, guys, that is it for my Teen Mom tag. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give my video a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below. I would love to hear any comments or suggestions on videos that you guys would like to see, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!